Hello, friends. Brian Gailey here, Klamath Falls News. Welcome to Ask Klamath. This is our 6th episode of Season 3. It's presented to you by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Joining us today is John Van Dyke. He's the Oregon Tech's athletic director. We're going to be talking about what that means, what he does. We're also going to be discussing what's going on with Oregon Tech sports right now and some of the big projects that are happening. And on top of all that, we're going to be taking your questions live. But before we do that, Brandon, roll that intro. Hi friends, Brian Gailey here. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. As I said, John Van Dyke, the athletic director for Oregon Tech, is joining us here today. This is our 6th episode, Season 3. We are like 26 episodes into this now. You can watch anytime any of our previous stuff over at AskKlamath.com. You can watch live as it is now, or rewatch it a little bit later too. We're going to be taking your questions live for John. If you want to go ahead and get those in the comments below, we're going to be getting to those near the end of the show. John has actually got a very lengthy bio that was given to us by Oregon Tech. It's over on AskKlamath.com as well. To summarize some of that, before coming to Oregon Tech, John served as the men's basketball head coach at Northwest University. You said that's in Kirkland, Seattle.
Kirkland, Washington, yeah.
Kirkland, Washington, outside Seattle. You did that from 2001 to 2017.
That's correct.
And you kind of pulled multiple duties over there, doing multiple things according to that. You were assistant director?
I was assistant athletic director. I was in charge of our budget and particularly the facilities of the gym up there. It was really where I worked.
And John's a pretty humble guy. We've talked here a little bit, and we got to know him at the schools during the game. But you've also received numerous awards from the Cascade Conference and the NAIA.
At a time or two, I've been doing it long enough to where a blind squirrel finds a nut.
So there's a lot of stuff there available in his bio. Like I said, it is quite lengthy. AskKlamath.com. You can check all that out. What is some of the highlights though of your past? What has brought you to where you are today?
Well, for the locals here, Danny Miles was a mentor of mine. When I started coaching at Northwest University, it was in 2000, 2001, and Danny's team was whooping up on our teams. And
he was good at that.
He was good at that, but he was also very gracious, and he would let me pick his brain, and we would meet. I would actually come down to Klamath during the summertime, in around 2003, 2004, and he would and I would ask him all kinds of questions, and to his credit, I was a competitive, I was a coach in the league, and he let me pick his brain, and imitation is the highest form of flattery, so. So anyway, it was good, and so I started stealing a lot of what he did, and lo and behold, our team started getting better, and so
that's coaching style works.
Yeah. So all the way from his value point system and everything. So I knew Danny and was able to be a mentor to me, and when the job opened up, I know about the fan support, the values that people have here in Klamath, and it's also an opportunity to win because of the resources that we have compared to some of the other schools in the conference. So all that to say, it was a natural fit for my wife and I to move down here.
Yeah. Was there any doubt when Oregon Tech's spot opened up for an athletic director, and was there any doubt that you knew you wanted it?
Not really. Danny and I talked offline, and he said, "John, would you like me to put a good word in for you?" And when Danny talks, I think that might help.
There's a little bit of weight there.
Yeah. And I said, "You bet." And I had been down here, just more than playing games as a coach. We've been down here in the summer. My family's vacationed at the Running Y before, so I knew Klamath. Mm-hmm. And so so it was a good time, a good fit, and I really it was a good time personally with my wife and I have a son that's a sophomore in college. My daughter just got married this last summer, so we're
Congratulations.
No, thank you. We're empty nesters, and so it was a good transitional time to try a new challenge, a new adventure.
Very good. So, what does an athletic director do at Oregon Tech? Maybe a better question is, what don't you do?
Well, I do a little of everything, or the buck stops with me. So, when you're a coach, it's pretty evident what your wins and losses look like. It's up on the scoreboard, it's in the newspaper, it's on the webpage. If you've won or lost. When you're an athletic director, it's a little more interesting because, at least for me, I had to learn what my wins were. I had to go out and define what my wins look like.
Okay.
So I could then know where I wanted to go out and what my losses might look like as well. So for me, my wins, I think having the right personnel, the right coach leading the right program. So personnel is a win, and making sure that we have the right people on board.
I think we have some good ones too.
We have great ones, yeah. Being fiscally responsible was another win. So at the end of the year, when we do our budget, did we make our budget? And if we have, so that was a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think developing facilities is another win. There was some depreciation of the deferred maintenance, I guess you could say.
They were a little tired.
Yeah, the building, and we're still got some area to improve, but there was some deferred maintenance, and so trying to improve our facilities, well, and with the softball field that we're coming up, the soccer field is there, the rec center that we'll talk about in a few minutes, just the whole idea of making our facilities more student friendly, I think is another win for me.
Yeah, we're actually going to be talking about the new athletic center, or the upgrades to the athletic center, as well as the John and Lois Stillwell softball stadium, which actually its dedication is not too far away.
March 16th.
Yeah. First game at home, I think, is the first schedule.
Yeah, we weren't sure about the weather. Oftentimes, the first weekend, we play in Medford.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were not sure on how much we want to put our eggs into that basket. So we deferred it to the March 16th.
Okay. Very good. So we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. But you've been in this new role now for about a year, haven't you?
Yeah, February 1st, my first day.
So
last year.
What in that time, a year in, kind of getting your feet wet, settled in a position like yours, it takes a little bit of time. It's not something you can just step right in and take over, right?
Right.
What have you find to be your favorite and least favorite parts of being an athletic director?
Some of my favorites are I really enjoy learning and understanding some of the sports that we offer that I may not have known a lot about. I got to travel with the cross country team when they went to Iowa and where our gals won the national championship, and just to watch another team. I'm pretty savvy with basketball, but to watch how other teams operate and what goes into their training and recruiting and the type of character or personality trait that each team sort of has. I've enjoyed softball and baseball, learning those and understanding that. Track, went up to the track championships last year and got to, it was in Hermiston and got to see that. So I really enjoyed outside of your, it's just not men's basketball. Mm-hmm. It's volleyball. There's a lot golf. There's a lot that we have to offer. There's a lot of student athletes that I've gotten to know, and we have about 240 give or take student athletes.
Oh wow, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, so just learning.
I would imagine the track team's probably a majority of that. And
they're about 50,
and maybe a lot of dual sport athletes.
Yeah, there's about 10 on guys cross country and 10 on gals cross country. There's like 12 and 9, I think, but give or take. And so those are dual, but track is about 50. Baseball is about 35.
Oh, okay.
Men's and women's soccer's, mid-20s. Men's soccer's a little bit more. But anyway, so first thing I really enjoy is learning about other programs and watching and being supportive of that. I've really got to enjoy, second thing would be, I've made friends, I share an office with the softball coach, who's also our assistant athletic director, Greg Stewart.
Good guy.
Great guy. And I've made friends with the basketball coaches and the other coaches too. And so we hang out and it's a good vibe. It's true family vibe, I think.
Mm-hmm. So what would be your least favorite? That's a lot of good favorite points. I don't think you could. It's probably like your kids. You can't pick your favorite one. But what would you say has been your least favorite?
I don't like sitting in meetings.
Meetings suck.
I'm a little ADHD sometimes, and I've got things I want to get done, and so sitting in meetings been a new learning experience for me.
I would imagine.
I'm growing in my patience.
I could definitely agree with the meetings. That's not one that I enjoy too much either. So talking to Oregon Tech, let's step away from Oregon Tech for a second. What do you like to do outside the school?
Well, I moved from Seattle, so it couldn't be more different moving from city to rural where we're at, and you know, having the opportunity to hike and to go outside, and I snowshoed today for the first time. Never snowshoed before, and went out snowshoeing today, and I just never would have done that before. And so the outdoors.
That's a little hard to do in Seattle. Well, recently with the weather they
you're
had,
right,
you
you're
probably
right.
couldn't.
You know, you're an hour from Stevens Pass. You can go skiing and things like that. But I like the outdoors. I like, you know, my golf game has improved. Not going to lie about that. Been able to chance to get on the golf course, and so I like that. And honestly, the stress level, outside looking in, you would think that an athletic director would have more stress than a basketball coach because I'm responsible for a larger department. But the truth is, I feel like my personal stress level's gone way down. I'm gonna live longer now that I'm not a head basketball coach.
I've seen a few coaches scream a bit there. At games. The stress is high.
The veins come out of their head, and
Danny used to turn a very bright shade of red.
Yeah, and I did too, and so not having that stress in my life will probably add a few years. So that part's been nice too.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to take a break here in just a moment. If you've got a question for John, be sure to get that in the comments below. Now is a great time to do that because we're going to take a break. We'll be back where we're going to talk a little bit more about the projects they have going on with Oregon Tech Athletics. We'll see you in just 2 minutes.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rorik, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
vests,
or reflectors,
please give us some room. Slow down and move over.
When you need us,
we've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back? Please, slow down.
And move over.
Hello, friends. Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. Our guest today is John Van Dyke. He's the athletic director for Oregon Tech. And, special shout out to a couple people that helped make this show possible. Our presenting sponsor, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. You saw their commercial there about the tapestry. They're really cool. Give them some love. Head over to their Facebook page and whatnot and give them a like as well. This section actually is brought to you by the Klamath County Fairgrounds. They want you to know that happening this weekend, they actually have a couple things. Tomorrow, they play host to the Southern District FFA competition. I'm not sure if that's open to the public, but that is going on. Friday is the Henley Booster Bingo Night, as well as the Jefferson State Jackpot Winter Series Rodeo Banquet. That's a long title. Is Saturday for that banquet. And as well, on Saturday, the Klamath Basin Home Builders Association, Heather Crowder was actually on the show last week. This week, they're actually having a poker tournament over there. You want to check that out as well. You can learn more about what the Fairgrounds can do for you at kcfairgrounds.org, as well as to see what events they have going on. Check out that new website. John, you ready for some more questions?
Hit me.
All right. So we kind of led into talking about the projects.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff that kind of needed some updating around the school regarding athletics. Actually, the school all has been getting a major update.
Yes.
All campuses kind of started with the College Union a few years ago, maybe about 10 years ago now. That was the first project that I can remember. Maybe that's closer to 15 now. And each building's kind of got their own. And now it's the athletic department's turn.
Right.
We're going to talk about the softball stadium here in just a moment, but before we do, the athletic center is getting kind of a makeover as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Well, let me tell you what we have already done.
Okay.
So if you haven't been to inside of our gym in a while, we have painted the interior of the gym, just an off-white, but it had lots of deferred maintenance, and then we've also sanded the floor down to the wood. And we had over 100 broken boards. I stopped the guy at fixing 100 boards that were cracked. Turns out the joists are 14 inches apart, and they needed to be 8. And so there's
a big difference.
Yeah, there's some gap in there. So when we roll out these heavy bleachers, it has snapped the boards over the years. So anyway, got most of those fixed.
That's in the older section, not the court that was replaced a few years back.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So on what we call the generals and the reserved, I stopped them at 100. Anyway, so we've resurfaced the floor, got new graphic down. Really, I want to give a shout out to our marketing and promotion person, Josh Wetzler. He came up with the center logo, which has the state of Oregon. We have a little star where Klamath is. I don't know if you probably noticed that.
It's pretty sharp looking.
And then we have I call it the angry owl, the logo that we use, the face of the Oregon Tech owl. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. If you're ever in the gym, go up to the reserve side where it says Danny Miles Court. There's a block that runs underneath the name Danny Miles, and every player that is an alum of the men's basketball program has his name in there alphabetically.
Awesome.
So if you're ever
I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're ever an alum and you want to come up and find your name, you're going to be in there. And so that's a cool piece. So that's what's been done. We've also just finished. I don't know the correct term. I call it the skin of the building. The skin of the building is finished. We were having pigeons and birds living in the side of that thing, and that's taken care of. So that's really cool. They've added what we call a vestibule. We're doing some more interior decorating here, I'd say, coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. So that's great. So the skin is done. The next project, we're hoping to start demolition of the student rec center, which will be downstairs where the pool used to be. So they're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna fill it in or how it's gonna go yet, but we're gonna cover the pool, make it a basketball court with also several lines for pickleball and badminton and this and that. So real student friendly. And then we're going to have a couple locker rooms, open day use locker rooms, and then we'll have the weight room, which we sorely need to upgrade our weight room, and then the cardio fit room will also be down there. So that's a big deal. We'll have a little bit of time to barely, but we're going to try to remodel the bathrooms upstairs when you walk in on ground level. So if you're at a basketball game, there's a long line, so those are tired.
Yeah, they're definitely tired.
They're tired. So we're going to try to work on that. So that's something that I'm being told, without running into big problems, is maybe a 10, 11-month job. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to break ground in June, knock on wood, depending on the permitting process. That's our goal. And then it'll be great for the students to have a whole new space for intramurals and all the different things that they can use it for. So it's great. Then, I'm not done. Then we're hoping, crossing our fingers, that there'll be money left for a track. Our track is very tired. We have stopped hosting track meets. It's unsafe. There's cracks in the ground or in the rubber of the track, and we're getting close to where we can't run on it. So anyway, that's the track. So that's out there a ways, but we're hoping that it's coming.
Okay. So there's a lot of things that you've been working on. Track is going to be a cool one that will be coming along. You know, that's as you said, it's crumbling. There's some root issues.
Yeah,
and
there's
things
some
there.
trees that are growing roots underneath it and have cracked the track, and so it's literally a safety hazard now.
So you're not able, we talked off camera, and you're not able to run any meets there
That's
because of
correct.
that.
Yeah.
But students are still able to practice a little bit on the outside of those lanes.
Yeah, it's getting to the tipping point. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to allow our track teams to run on there. So they're doing it right now. How much longer, I don't know.
Okay, so that's definitely a big one. So going back to the athletic center, and I think we have some pictures there. I'm not sure if Brandon had run them yet or not, but we have some of the renderings there of that section that you're talking about. The old pool downstairs. If you walk in and you're familiar with the gym, where the store is, the athletic store is during games.
Oh, yeah.
There's a window you can look down and see where the old pool was. That is the section you're talking about. That section downstairs to be remodeled.
Yeah, when you look down the window, that'll be remodeled. Next to the elevator, for those that have been on campus, that stairwell is where our one access points by the tunnel. That'll be our in and out of where we access it. And it's going to be good. There's going to be a yoga room in there, or a classroom for a spin. There'll be hoops, and then we'll have a bigger weight room, bigger cardio room.
Very cool. So is that also going to be a practice court for the players, or are they going to still practice upstairs?
Most of this is on the backs of student fees.
Okay.
So we really want to be very...
So it's for the students.
Yes. If school hasn't started yet, and volleyball needs to practice down there because something else is going on, of course. But it's a student first. Student will get priorities on this.
Is it going to be open to the general public to be able to use?
We're still talking about that.
Okay.
There's a right now it is to walk in and use a tech fit. We're still in negotiations about that.
Okay, good to know. So jumping gears, going over to the softball stadium.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening up there.
Yeah.
We're getting very close to opening, like dedication time, first
Right.
games. Last year, I want to say it was in the spring last year, we did the groundbreaking ceremony.
Yes.
It's nothing like it used to be. It is completely redone, turf, new everything.
It's drop dead gorgeous is what
Yeah.
it is. It's one of the state of the art for a smaller university. This will be one of the nicest softball fields on this side of the Mississippi. Our coach will be able to do quality camps. We're going to extend our camps this summer. It's going to be great. About 2 weeks ago, when we were having better weather, the team was out practicing on there, where the snow just melts so much more faster than on just regular grass, and so they've been able to get out there, and it's been great.
It's going to be good watching them out there.
Yeah.
All new bleachers.
Yep.
Everything's new.
Press box.
Yeah. There's not anything other than the scoreboard, possibly, which was recently updated.
Yeah, we
that hasn't
added
changed.
John and Lois Stillwell Stadium. Everything where the pitchers warm up will be new. The bleachers are new. It's going to seat, I think, 234. I could be wrong, a couple of that, but about 200 and some people will be able to sit back there. And there's other places, put your lawn chair. And the first home weekend is March 1 and 2. We're hoping weather will cooperate and we can get that in. Oftentimes we've had to go to Medford to play because of weather. The dedication is sort of a soft opening, like a grocery store.
Right.
We're going to have March 16th, most likely between the doubleheader games, which is around 1 o'clock-ish. Dr. Naganathan will speak. And we'll have John Stillwell throw out the first pitch.
Nice.
And we'll cut a ribbon, and it's going to be fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah, John will get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
One. See him all over the town. You guys probably see him too, and not even know it. But John Stillwell has done a lot for Oregon
Yes, he
Tech
has.
and other communities as well. He's done a lot with other
Yes.
organizations as well.
Tremendous man.
Him and Lois were great people. So you're saying that ceremony's going to be between the doubleheader?
Yes.
So public can attend, I'm assuming?
Yes. We're charging, I think it's $5 to get in. That's what we're charged for softball games. And soccer games this year, and so they'll have to pay the $5. But yeah, they can come in, and we're gonna have concessions this year. We've never had concessions in softball. We'll have some coffee and hot chocolate maybe, and
heated bathrooms.
Yeah, heated bathrooms. Up in the stadium, there's a team room with lockers for the gals. It's gonna be perfect. It's beautiful. Adjacent to that is the concession stand. So it's state of the art. I'm telling you, it is quality.
And off camera, I was asking about parking. You said there is a parking lot adjacent as well. So it's not like you got to park at the athletic center and walk up.
No, there's a gravel parking lot down the hill 30 yards. So you can avoid the foul balls from landing on your car if you park down there.
Very good. So what other things have the athletic department completed recently besides the stadium?
Everything in the gym itself. We're in the middle of buying our charter bus, and so we're processing, trying to figure out what to do with that. There's been a few hiccups along the way with our charter bus, so we'll see if that pencils.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's probably about it, which is quite a bit.
And what was it, about 2 or 3 years ago the soccer field was redone?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So soccer's good. Track's next. Is there plans for a baseball stadium anywhere up there?
Not right now. We're trying to finish well what we have started. We have our games at Kiger, and Kiger's getting tired, but every baseball purist I talk to, playing at Kiger is a treat.
It is.
The wood stadium, the way the thing is set up. So we're hoping that we can continue that relationship and that our guys can stay there at least for the near future, and we want to continue that. And the Coach Miles, the baseball coach, and his guys, they love playing there.
Yeah, it's almost a rite of passage for a lot of people. They come, they see it, and it's one of those things they got to do.
Yeah,
and they love doing it there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everything on my notes. So, guys, if you've got any questions, get those in the comments below. We would love to see your questions for John. We're actually going to take a break here in just a moment, and we'll be back with more with John, and we're going to be talking about the big weekend coming up here in sports. Big weekend. We'll be right back.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between. We keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rourke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
Vests.
Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back? Please, slow down.
And move over.
Friends, Brian Gailey here, Ask Klamath. This is our 6th episode of Season 3. We're joined here today by John Van Dyke, who is the Athletic Director for Oregon Tech. In the previous segment, we talked about the projects that the Athletic Department is working on, the new athletic center, the softball stadium, and a few other things. now we're going to actually talk about what's currently happening right now in athletics, and it's a big weekend.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an understatement, really. If you haven't been following the basketball teams, both the Hustlin' Owls and the Lady Owls, they are doing extremely well this year. Looking at my notes here, the Hustlin' Owls, the men's team, 22-6 on the season. They're 13-3 in conference play, which actually puts them in second place in the conference behind College of Idaho, which has been a beast in recent years. The Lady Owls are doing awesome as well, 20-8. They've hit a 20-win season, 14-4 in conference, and they're third in the conference.
Yes.
For them. So those teams are doing awesome. What's happening this weekend to make this weekend so big?
Well, I'll start with the Lady Owls first. We're playing Eastern Oregon on Friday, which is 22-2. They're 17-0 in conference. So the only way that we can get to second place, Corbin is in second right now. The only way we can get to second is to sweep this weekend, which means we have to beat Eastern Oregon, which is a tall task. Doable.
But it is at home.
It is at home.
Both games are for men and women are at home Friday, Saturday.
That's correct, 5:30, 7:30.
And it's blackout nights Friday night and senior night Saturday, correct?
You're stealing my thunder, Brian.
I try, you know.
So back to the Lady Owls. Big weekend if they can host, but basically it means that we have locked up for sure a home playoff game, which is the following Tuesday for women only. Okay, the men will be the following Wednesday. So that's a big deal that we can host. Well, we'll host two playoff games. That's great. So lots going on there. Basketball for men, the Hustlin' Owls. If we win on Friday against Eastern Oregon, and if College of Idaho wins on Friday against Southern Oregon, we will be playing for a tie of the conference championship. And what's special about this is the team that wins the conference championship has an automatic bid for the national tournament.
Right.
It's called an automatic qualifier. And what we've already ran the numbers on what ifs, and if we beat College of Idaho, all the tiebreakers, all the extensive tiebreakers, everything to everything, we have won and lost against the same teams. It's gotten down to the coin flip.
Really?
Yeah.
Down to a coin flip.
Down to a coin flip to see who gets an automatic qualifier. So after the game, if it happens where it comes down to a coin flip, the Rob Cashel, our commissioner, is going to he'll stream a coin flip that has a special Cascade Conference heads and tails, and we're going to have it on the video board that our stream will be showing, and we'll have a champion. We're going to get a trophy regardless if we win. It's a co-championship, but
that'll be over who gets the automatic bid to the nationals.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Although I feel comfortable, we're going.
Right.
We're 10th in the country right now. College of Idaho is 4th. I feel that, especially if we take care of business Friday night, we're going.
Well, best case scenario, they lose in Ashland.
That's possible too.
And then we win when they come here.
That
then
would be an hour. That's what we want. Yeah,
best case scenario, right?
I like how you're thinking.
Don't really ever want to root for somebody to do bad, but hey, go Southern Oregon, right?
Have you ever said that before?
No. So there's always a first, right?
Yeah. This is taped, right? You're gonna always pull this archive out.
It's out there.
Yeah.
I said it.
Okay. You can't pull it back.
As long as they're not playing the Owls.
Right.
Okay. How about that?
That's good.
There we go.
Good qualifying statement.
Good qualifying statement. So, as to say, big weekend. Tickets are available.
Yeah.
Right.
You can go online or come up to the school and get them, but I think the easiest way is to buy them online.
I probably would buy them online just in case it sells out. Standing room only.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been getting bigger crowds. I've only been here a year, although I've coached against Tech for a lot of years. But all the locals, all the historians, Bobby, all of them are saying that our crowds are coming back.
The crowds are big the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Pink Out Night especially. There was 2,200 in Danny Miles Court on Pink Out Night, and it only holds like 2,350 or something like that. It was close.
It's a big deal, and we're bringing it back, and we've done a pretty good job. Better marketing, I would suspect, and
Josh is doing a great job of that.
He has, and it doesn't hurt that we're winning either. But in Oregon Tech, both the gals and the guys, the players that are so easy to root for because of the kind of student athletes they are, and the quality of the type of person that if you're a fan in the community, to pull for true student athletes is quite remarkable. And
It's in a way, it is our pro team, if
Yeah,
you would.
yeah.
Klamath Falls, we got some great high schools. We got some great student athletes in high school. A lot of the pro teams in our area are a long ways away.
Yeah.
You got Portland, you got San Francisco in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Seattle for the pro teams. Oregon Tech is Klamath Falls pro team. If
Well,
you
they're
would.
proud. I mean, as a
There's a
former
lot of pride.
the OIT, the whole OIT chant's a big deal, and I think people take a lot of. I know so they take a lot of pride in Oregon Tech.
So, shifting gears, again, Friday, Saturday night, games start at 5:30 for the women?
Yeah. So Friday night's blackout. Bring a can or more of canned food.
Bring a bag.
Yeah, bring a bag, and we'll see about getting you a T-shirt.
Cool. Saturday night, senior night?
Saturday night is senior night. Yes, women have 5. I want to say women, and men have 1. So we'll honor the women at halftime of the men's game, and we'll honor our one senior, Kim, at the beginning of warm-ups, or towards the end of warm-ups, I should say, of the guys' game.
Awesome. So the one senior on the men's team means they got a young team. A lot of them coming back next year.
A lot of juniors. I mean, we've been so young for so long. It's nice that we're juniors, and then we have a great freshman class too. Coach Parnell has really only needed to sign one. He signed one point guard, a young man out of Vancouver, Washington, that I think will be pretty good. And at some point, down the road, we'll replace Mitch Fink. But right now, we're glad to have Mitch for another this year and next.
Yeah, we don't want Mitch going in.
No.
Mitch is a good kid. So I was going to say, shifting gears, talking about spring sports.
Right.
Baseball, softball, track and field have already all started.
Yeah, call them winter/spring sports.
Yeah.
They're already going. Give you a little update. Baseball is going to be on the road this week in Rockland, in Sacramento, outside of Sacramento. They're playing William and Jessup. A couple double headers. Right now they're 4-6. Our arguably best player, at least fielder, had a very bad concussion. I think the first game or the first weekend, and he's been out. I think he's back now. But Josh Kallstrom, he's our hitter. He's our first baseman. He collided with our second baseman. They were going for a foul ball outside of the field, and Josh was reaching out, and he was diving low, and our second baseman didn't see him and ran basically through his head. Caught him with his knee.
Ouch.
And popped him in the side of the head. So there's been some concussion protocol that we've dealt with, and it's fine. Josh is back and going. So we've missed him though. He's a good player, a good person, and so that's baseball. Softball is 5-3 right now. They've been on the road. They're going to go to Atherton this weekend in the Bay Area and play a couple games against Menlo College and Hope International, so it's a big weekend. Coach Stewart would tell you that he kind of started the year with a thud and didn't really play the way they're capable of, and since then they've kind of got it back going again.
They went 2-2 on their first weekend, right? They dropped 2-1-2.
Yeah. But I think they're ranked.
But they
10th.
did have preseason rank that put them at 10.
They're put them at 10, and ironically, Southern Oregon is ranked 3rd, and that's the weekend we have the dedication.
Nice.
So we will be playing Southern Oregon, weather permitting, at John Lois Stowell Stadium on field dedication, and that's number 10 versus number 3. So that's a big deal.
That'll be a big game no matter what. Not without the dedication.
Yeah,
That'll be a big game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not done.
You're not done.
We have
But
indoor
wait, there's
track.
more.
We have indoor track. So track just never stops. So they're either running cross country, or they're indoor track, or they're outdoor track. Right now it's indoor track. There'll be a track national championships here in about 3 weeks, I want to say. We have in the way track works, you have to have a qualifying mark. So you have to run a certain time or jump a certain distance to qualify for nationals. We have 7 student athletes that have qualified. Coach Keg was telling me that at this time ever, we've only had 2.
And we have
this
7.
year 7, and
Oh, wow.
there's 2. I know we have 2 that are just on the outside looking in. We had one guy run an 800 meter. He missed the qualifying mark by 1 second.
Oh, my.
So we're hoping that he eats his Wheaties and well. So they're at a meet this week at Northern Arizona University, up in Flagstaff. So
Hopefully
and
they'll
that's
win it.
truly indoor. They're not running outside, in Flagstaff. So I'm hoping that we get those two student athletes to qualify. So
Cool. Well, I'm taking a step back to baseball and softball for just a second. Their preseason games, prior conference games, right, which is what they're doing now,
Right.
they're all on the road, aren't they?
have to.
Because of our weather.
Yes. So it's a disadvantage, but it's you play the hand you're dealt, and so they're going to play. Baseball plays every weekend on the road, their entire preseason. So they get a little road weary. They got stuck on the Grapevine last weekend for 6 or 7 hours.
That's
there
never
was
gonna be fun.
There was a wreck ahead of them that they didn't get back to school. They were like 12 hours late getting back to school, so that was unfortunate. But they made it safe. And so anyway, yeah. So it's hard. It's a hard on their win-loss record to start every game on the road like that. So in softball the same, and so they're on the road as well. They were in Reading last week, and
It's something like 14 games on the road, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Yeah.
Because they get started in January for
Yeah.
the spring sport in January.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But to finish on time and not be past graduation and stuff.
Well, and we've added, at least in softball, we've added a couple conference teams in our conference which are from Montana, which doesn't really help the weather or the travel. And with baseball, we've added University of British Columbia, so Vancouver, BC. That doesn't help the weather nor the travel. So I think we've had to extend our season out to make room for the other teams.
Okay. So we're going to be taking a break here in just a moment, but once again, to remind everybody, big games this weekend, Friday, Saturday night, women at 5:30, men at 7:30-ish, depending if the women's game goes longer.
Right.
Blackout night, Friday night, senior night, Saturday night. Tickets are available now, and get
Yep,
them early.
online. Can I make one other, before we leave softball, I think it's duly noted that nobody really knows this, but Greg Stewart, our women's coach, has 496 career wins as a coach, and he could get 500 this weekend.
Nice.
We'd have to sweep. So what a huge landmark and milestone. That would be extra special if he could get 500 wins.
Glad to hear 500's on the way. Kind of sad to hear it's going to be on the road, though.
We'll do something for him.
We'll do something.
We'll do something for him.
All right. Guys, we're going to take a break. If you got questions for John, get those in the comments below, because in this next section, we're going to be asking your questions. We'll see you in just 2 minutes.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rorik, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over.
When you see lights,
Vests.
Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back?
Please.
Slow down.
And move over.
Hello, friends. Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. We're joined today by John Van Dyke, the athletic director for Oregon Tech. Thank you for being here, John.
Glad to be here.
And we're happy to have you. In this section, this is actually what we call the soapbox. And I know I see a little card over there.
I came prepared.
It's about the Booster Club, and I
Yep.
think you want to talk about that.
I do.
Can you let us know what's going on?
Sure. So we have had a booster club in the past, but it's been a few years where it hasn't been up and running. So we started the Hustlin' Owl Booster Club this year. Brought it back. It's a better way to say it. And, to be frank, I don't know that it makes sense to join it right now because our basketball season's over and some of the benefits that you would get for joining the ship has sailed on that. But we will ramp it up again next fall. And there's different price points for different things that you get. $250, get a couple T-shirts. Silver, $500. We get recognition in the OregonTechOwls.com. We get a pullover zip, team ball, signed team ball. The $1,000 one, I started a reception at halftime, which has gone over very well. Among the other things, you get to go in at halftime, and we have the Grocery Pub cater it and mingle. But then at the end of it, an assistant coach, typically Josh Wetzler, or Joel Yellowell, come in and talk about what the coaches are talking about and what to look for and what has happened and what they like, what they don't like about that's happened thus far. And in that, we've had a lot of good feedback there, and the people in the room are very conscientious as to they're true fans, and so they're really following, and that's going to go out next year for people that advertise for us around the gym as well as are at that 1,000 Point Booster Club. So that's what we have, and we're going to revamp that next year, and it's going to be good.
What is the monies earned from the Booster Club? Where did that go to?
Great question. It's right now it's a slush fund. So where I'm putting it is we have an LED light project. We're about $10,000 short of. The lights are old, and when you turn them off, it takes 20 minutes to warm them up. So we want to get back up, and it's better environmentally sound too, So we'd like to get an LED lights project. I want to do a concession stand remodel. I've noticed at halftime of the well-attended games, the concession stand line goes all the way. I've seen it up to half court.
Yes.
So we want to make an L, if you can picture that, and have a couple windows that people can come up to.
Couple ordering windows, couple pickup windows.
Yeah. So speed up the efficiency of it, and so that's a project we'd like to do as well. So
very cool.
I've been told by our facilities people we may be able to do that in house. I'm hoping so. That our facilities people can do that. Anytime
you can do that in house, it saves a lot.
Yeah.
The county school district actually did that very well. They brought up a whole in-house crew. In a kind of a department super that manages all that to where they can actually do most of that without having to send it out for bid. But being a state organization, that may be different.
Well, if we can do it in-house and it comes under X amount of dollars, I think we're going to be okay. The problem, Brian, is water. Those are cement walls, and we want to bring water into there, and the cost of bringing water through that is a little bit...
What, drilling holes isn't cheap?
Yeah, and so we might have not changed necessarily what we sell, but we would like to make it more customer friendly to have people not wait in line for 20 minutes. So I think that's what. So where else does it go? It goes to. We're trying to do a few extra special things for the program. Our travel budget. We have a national travel budget, but our typical. Hey, we got to field a team to go to X, Y, and Z spots. We're thin there. So if we can budget for that a little bit, I think that would help too.
How does budgeting for nationals come up? We were talking about that a few minutes ago, where the team will most likely qualify for nationals.
Right.
How does that work in? Do you have a special budget just for that, or is
we
that
do.
booster money as well?
No, we have a special budget for that, but that moves in parts. We don't know how many teams will make the national tournament. Cross country went to Iowa for their men and their women team this last year. Women's basketball has a chance to go. Men's basketball, I think, will be going. Indoor track will be going. Track in the spring will be going. we'll send athletes. I'm being ranked 10th for softball. I have a hunch we'll be going for there. So yes, it gets expensive, and it's sort of a moving goalpost of how much it is. Dr. Naginathan has committed to helping the athletic department pay that bill.
Nice.
We obviously would always encourage support in that, but the school has committed to helping us. We have provided the teams. In other words, we have sponsored these teams. It's on the school to help send the teams. And Dr. Naginathan has been really, really good about understanding that vision.
Very good. Anything else in your soapbox that you wanted to cover? What else is happening?
It's just a good time to be an owl. I think I've heard several of the coaches who've been here for several years come to me and say that the mojo of the department, the facilities, the opportunity to be comfortable and to be successful, and I don't mean just on the court or on the field or on the track. I mean the student athlete. Brian, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if people know this. So we have 240 student athletes, give or take a couple, and our average GPA was 3.31 last year.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm pretty sure is higher than the average student. Don't hold me to that 100%, but I'm pretty sure that is higher than the average student, the typical student at Oregon Tech.
Not only do we have athletic achievers, but we have scholars.
Yes, we do.
We have student scholars
Yes.
on our team.
Yes, and they're there. As a person who came new, I didn't understand the academic rigor of Oregon Tech. I didn't, and I see them on road trips. They're all studying. Their coaches are proctoring tests, and the student athlete, they really, really value their education, but they take it seriously. They're here to graduate, and they're not messing around. They're not. Oregon Tech isn't your liberal arts type of school that anybody can just go to. And I'm not throwing a liberal arts school under the bus. I'm just saying that the niche of our student athlete is very unique. And consequently, that's what Oregon Tech, we have. I think that billboard, we're saying $68,000 is the average salary after 5 years of graduating. And, that's a big deal.
Right.
And so that means that the coaches know who their market is, of who they can recruit and who will be successful. And so it narrows the market, I think, of who they can recruit, but it also makes for really fun to recruit smart, intelligent student athletes.
Right. Well, I got one more question for you. You know it's coming.
I do.
I get it all the time, so I'm going to refer the question to him. But now, as soon as we're done with this question, we are actually going to be taking yours live. So get those comments and questions for John in there. My last question for you is football.
Yes.
I hear it all the time, even doing what I do. You have to hear it all the time. Is there plans to develop a football team or program for Oregon Tech and bring it back?
Part of the job as being athletic director, Brian, is to be able to say no and say it nicely. We don't have plans of bringing it back. Just to give perspective to the local person, and I don't know exactly what the numbers would for sure look like if we brought it back, but College of Idaho started football, 4 or 5 years ago now, and the starting dollar was $2 million just to get the program going. That doesn't count funding it for terms of travel. In our conference, the teams that have football are Southern Oregon and Eastern Oregon and College of Idaho, and those guys go up to Montana to play games in conference. So the travel budget is astronomical.
We're not talking about just a couple players in cross country, but this
No,
would be two buses.
You're traveling 50, and
50
you're flying
people.
a lot of them too. I think Southern flies a lot, and then that doesn't count when you travel for national playoff games where you're going across country.
A couple years ago, they had one in Florida or something.
Yeah, it is a large. It's an important decision. I think the value. I think the community would love it. I'd love it. But the other piece to consider is Oregon Tech has really become well known for their academic rigor, like I said, and for the type of student athletes we have. And I don't say this has to be fact, but if you're going to bring in 75 young men to play football, I don't know that all 75 of them would meet our academic rigor. And therefore, I think some of them would struggle, and I think it would change the culture academically of what we have.
Well, it might also be that the programs aren't a good fit.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Colleges, there there are other universities that are great fits for certain people. We can't be all things to all people. We're not big enough. And so our leadership has chosen to be really good at a certain few things. And I'm on board with that. But in order to do that, you're going to have to say no to some good things to be great on other places. And I think that's the case here.
It's almost kind of falls into that jack of all trades, master of none, if you have too many.
Yeah.
Right? But if you specialize in what you do best, basketball, the softball, the baseball, the soccer, all of those, the cross country and track, they're all phenomenal teams, and they all do very well if you start mudding that up a little bit.
We just don't have the bandwidth to run it. I mean, the department's not set up to run it, and we're just not there. And I think it would change the academic culture of our school too. And I don't think our leadership, and I agree with this, I don't think that necessarily is what we want to do.
Well, with that note, we're actually going to take a look here at your questions. Let's see. Mike is actually watching. Mike Garrard. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing? Good to see you there. Doug Werner actually was on our show a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was last season now that I think about it. Douglas Werner is the director of High Altitude Track Club here in town, and he's also, I believe, the head coach or assistant coach for the track over at Hosanna.
All right.
He is actually asking, and he may have tuned in late because we did ask this, but for those who are watching late, is there plans to resurface the track? He's asking out of curiosity.
We hope so. We know we need it. And the students have committed to helping start a rec center, and when and if the money is left over for that, and we think there is, not sure all of it would be there, then yes, we would. The next project is a track.
Is it just the surface in the immediate ground underneath that needs to be done, or is it a bigger picture?
It's $1 million.
That's a bigger picture.
I know to get the quality and to do the pole vault pits and everything like that, I was floated $1 million for that.
So
that doesn't include the bleachers.
Yeah.
That doesn't include anything. That's just ripping up the old one and putting down the new one, and that's what I was told.
Okay. Doug's also saying he may be able to be assistance with that.
Right.
So Doug will put you in with John. Doug, we'll introduce you to if you haven't met yet. Let's see. Donna Walker is watching. Thank you, Donna. David James is saying it's a good time to be an Owl supporter.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's a great time to be an Owl supporter. I just, we have more than men's basketball, and I don't want to take anything. I am men's basketball to the core, but we have much more to offer than men's basketball. I just want to encourage the fans to come out and support a baseball game at Kiger, to come out and support a softball game at the John and Lois Stillwell Stadium, to come out in the fall for volleyball and men's and women's soccer. It's our level is very high in terms of the caliber of the competition, and it's quality entertainment.
I'm excited to see the new stadium, this new softball stadium. I think that's pretty cool. I've driven by it a couple times and see it in the process of the being at groundbreaking. I'm excited to see that one. That's going to be pretty cool.
Also want to give a shout out to our golf team. I'm thinking who I've forgotten.
We haven't said much about golf.
We're hosting at Eagle Point. We're hosting a tournament middle March, so that's going to be great. In 2 years, interesting fact here. It'll be OIT's turn to host the Cascade Conference Cross Country Championships. So I don't think it's next school year. I think it's the year after, if I'm not mistaken. And we're talking about doing it at the Running Y and making that into a high caliber. And
nice.
And we've even thrown around, don't hold me to this, we've thrown around the idea of making a bid to the NAI National Championships to have Klamath host it.
Oh, that'd be good because that'd be challenging to a lot of students because of the elevation.
The altitude. Yeah, so that's we're a few years from making that pitch, and I think the NAI has assigned where they're going to be for the next X amount of years. But that's something that Coach Kaeg and I have knocked around, and we think that would be a great boost to our economy, and it would be a lot of fun.
I'd love to see a championship games done here, whether it was track and field or on a new field that you guys have or cross country or whatever it might be.
We want to host softball playoffs too, but we don't have lights, and that's a prerequisite for hosting a championship for softball. Or so in our soccer field, same thing. We don't have lights as well. So
that does make it tough.
Yeah.
Lighting is expensive though.
It is. It is. We've planned for it with the softball field. It's wired. So someday, if we start another project, we have a chance to we were proactive in thinking about what it'll be to take to get the lights there.
Very good. Bobby Thompson, I see you're watching. Hey, Bobby, voice of the
Bobby.
Owls. Thanks for watching. Anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Not really. I just am glad to be here. It's fun. It's fun to be in a community that cares so much about their student athletes, and it's fun to be on the bus the other day with Bobby and Mike and the teams. I went to the Eugene game in Northwest Christian. It was fun. And it's good. Good times.
All right. Well, guys, not seeing any more questions. We're actually going to wrap this coverage. We're right on time. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank John for being our guest today. Ask Klamath is presented by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Again, thank you to them and any of the other sponsors that we've got, the Fairgrounds, Ace Towing, Excel Auto Body. Check them all out. We actually have sponsorships available for Season 4. Season 4 is coming up in April, right after spring break. So be well checking that out. Ask Klamath is a production of Klamath Falls News. It's hosted by myself, Brian Gilly. Off camera is our show producer. Monitoring audio is Brandon. Hey, Brandon. There he is. If you did not catch the entire live broadcast, don't worry. As soon as Facebook does all its magic, you can rewatch anytime you want. You can also catch previous episodes at AskKlamath.com and over on our YouTube channel also. If you've learned something, if we entertained you, if you liked it, you like John, give him a thumbs up. Let him know. Share it with your friends so that they can see what's going on as well. We are actually going to be off next week. We did have Sheriff Caber scheduled to be our guest next week, but we are actually going to be, there is a conflict, a time conflict there with that whole thing. So we will not have an episode next week, but we will come back in 2 weeks when we have Anna Fowler, the director of Sage Community School, joining us here on Ask Klamath. And because we won't have a show next Wednesday, check out the men's playoff game.
Yes, Wednesday men's playoff game at Oregon Tech. Be there.
All right.
7:30. 7. It'll be a 7 o'clock
Yeah,
tip.
playoff games are at 7, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
We're going to have to make sure nobody's late. You're going to want to see that one. Guys, on behalf of John, I'm Brian. We will see you around the basin.
Thank you.